Hello and welcome everyone to episode 36 of Awakening to Ascension. I am your host, Alex Nelson, here with Janae and Marlene. And throughout the episode, if you have any cord cutting techniques that you'd like to share, drop those in the comments below. We'll go ahead and get started. So cord cutting, we've spoke about in some previous episodes. It is detaching cords that are attached from other people. When you engage with other people, they attach like an ethereal cord to that connects with you, and we're all interconnected. But when somebody's connecting with you that could potentially be draining your energy, or that you don't want, or if you're around a bunch of people like a crowd, every person that was around you, one of like a cord from them is tied to you. So in order to respect and honor your energy, you cut those cords. Janae, do you have any methods or techniques that we can use to cut cords?
Thanks, Alex. So I just wanted to give the viewers and the listeners a little bit of a scientific understanding with regards to the chords. So in the law of physics, two objects, as we've discussed previously, if they are if they come into contact with one another, they are then interconnected. And what that's called is quantum entanglement. Yeah. So in a relationship, in a traumatic experience, that entanglement happens. And if you are not intentionally allowing that to disconnect, then what's going to essentially happen is that energy between the two objects, being you and another person, is going to remain in your energetic field in that specific time. Because remember, time is an illusion. So we are currently living our past, present, and future selves. So if you have entanglement with somebody, your energy, like we discussed as well in our Akashic records, is then attached to that person in that specific period of time. And how I like to describe it is, if you think of your nervous system, it's an electrical grid, right? So it's electricity. And this cord is an electric connection. So what you're trying to now do is, being in yourself and in your sovereignty, you are trying to light a skyscraper, but you're too busy lighting 1,000 buildings down here. So you actually don't have enough energy for yourself because you're attached. You've got all these cords. So because we've discussed cord cutting and various ways that we can do it, another way of looking at it is instead of cutting it, it's allowing yourself to remain in such a high vibration, like I said, the skyscraper, the electricity that you are, that cord has no chance to surge its electric circuit with you. So essentially, you don't always need to cut cords. You need to just remain on a very high vibrational frequency. And by doing that, it's more prevalent to concentrate on your breath, prana, which is the present now moment. So if there is a cord that is in your field, you are able to be present and conscious enough to be in a high vibrational frequency that cord it stands no chance to connect with you.
Okay, so following on from that, if we stand and we actually physically want to cut these cords, if you close your eyes and you ask Archangel Michael to stand in front or to the side of you, and the person that you are cutting cords with, you actually see them in your mind's eye standing in front of you. Then what you do is, remembering what we've spoken about with all of the chakras, the chakra points in your body is those spinning wheels of energy which connect to other people. So what you need to do is you need to see the other person standing, and literally from your base chakra, from your root chakra, you close your eyes and you see the cord from their root chakra to your root chakra, and you go all the way up. Once you've done that, you ask Archangel Michael to cut each cord. You sever the cord from the base chakra upward.
It's, sorry to interrupt, because it's a root, so it's a weed. The weed will continue to grow if you don't get the root out.
That's correct.
So you've got to cut it at the root.
Exactly. And then when he, and be very present, because as that cord is cut, you can actually feel the energy sever between the two of you. And you also might feel emotions. So with the base chakra, you might feel anger. You might feel like and with that anger, when the cord is cut, you'll actually be releasing that anger, that pent upness within yourself. You go all the way up. When you get to your heart, you might feel sadness. You might feel gratitude, and you might even just feel immediately lighter. So once that whole process is done, you stand or you sit quietly, and then you ask Archangel Michael to actually almost like end off, to burn each cord on you, or each point on you, to close, because you're not wanting to reabsorb the energy from that person again. So you actually make sure that the connection is completely cut, closed, and sealed. That's the word I'm looking for, to seal it. And that in itself is an exceptionally powerful ending, because remembering, like, when you get a message from somebody and they're actually not in your space for long enough, you've got to deal with that person on a very gentle and energetic level. Once you do this thing and things kind of go a little bit awry, maybe in your communications, the cords are still there. What you need to do is then step back and do this process. Otherwise, you're going to be almost like dragging behind with that person, and that person is lagging into your life. And that is when things really become very uncomfortable and very unnecessary.
They're pulling your energy without you realizing it. And that's why you feel drained. That's why you feel heavy. That's why you feel the way you do. And it's always a feeling that you think to yourself, this isn't really mine. And that's because of the cord. There's a cord specifically to individuals of lower vibrational frequencies that may have evil eyes on you. Individuals, as Marlene has stated, that the communication may have severed, but it's a vital practice to do. Yes, Alex.
So I've become more aware of, I guess, like different energy fields around me, like different layers of energy fields. And it's interesting because I feel like I can kind of move them with intention and movement. But regarding the chords, so is there a way that we can preemptively like protect ourselves from the cords being attached, or do we have to wait until they've been attached and remove them?
So every day, every single day, we should put ourselves into either a tube of light or a bubble of light.
Or a blanket.
Or a blanket. Whatever works for you, find something that you resonate with. Remembering that the minute you wake up, you have your partner, or maybe you're staying alone, you have kids, I don't know. But the minute you start to walk out your door, to breathe, to do anything, you're actually already in that space. And remembering that the attraction is from the other person, because the other person might be thinking about you. You're not thinking about them right there and then. But those cords are already forming from their side to you. And that is why it's a very good question, Alex, that you must always actually protect yourself. Put yourself in a bubble of light. If you're walking out into the street, into a mall, please, people, be very, very careful. Do put yourself in that bubble of protection, because you don't know who and what is walking past you, the people that are helping you in the stores. They're having a bad day. They're connecting with your energy. You walk off and you take that anger, you don't know. So please, always put yourself in either the bubble, either a protection of tube, and as you say,
blanket.
yeah, that light blanket. Just do it. It's like the Linus blanket, guys.
And it's also Marlene saying you step out into the world and it's these connections that are you're interacting with so many individuals without realizing it. When you are filling up your car, when you are buying bread, when you are literally just stopped at a robot and the person in the car next to you. And it's also very important because we're in an age and in an era where social media is also we are so involved online. Even the engagements and the interactions may not be on a personal level, but somebody watching a video of somebody else, a cord can be attached. So if that person is open and not protected and closed, they can receive many, many, many connections and cords, and it can be detrimental. It can be detrimental to their growth, and it can make them feel overwhelmed. It can make them feel anxious. It can do all sorts of things.
So I would just like to add from my part to end it off is that even before we come on these podcasts, we make sure that we have the highest intent, we clear, we connect, and we put out the frequency that we wish in respectfulness from ourselves to you to have that broadcast. That is exactly the way that we choose to show up in the world for you and for ourselves. It always starts with ourselves. Guys, everything starts from within. You can't do and be and tell anyone else if you're not doing it for yourself.
No, absolutely. If you're not practicing it. So to give you all just an idea, before we start every podcast, we do breath. We do a breathwork session with one another so that we can connect and we can align, obviously, with our frequencies to discuss the topic. But we also call upon our protectors in other realms, and we do safeguard ourselves before we allow you to listen to us, because we understand that there are so many individuals that are going to be watching and listening. So just it's about these daily practices and integrating them into your life as a routine. And as I've always said, it's a lifestyle change. You have to start implementing it slowly and remembering. When you remember, oh, wow. And what helped me in the beginning of my period of awakening, I had lots of notes all up in the house. So I had little pieces of paper, and then I'd have reminders, like on my bathroom window, a mirror, I would have there a little like decree or an affirmation or a mantra, and then I would have something on my fridge. So whenever I walked around the house, it was these little nudges and little reminders for me to have it continuously through the day. Yes, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. They are not lying. We do that at the beginning of every episode. And you can even participate if you'd like to be on the show. You can join our community at school.com/descendant pathway. We'll have the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, for your time tonight, and we'll see you next time.